Hello. Hey, Kat Miller here. Welcome. In this video, I'm sharing with you how to sell more of your offers without being pushy. Pushy is probably the main word that people say to me when they say they want to sell, but they don't want to be pushy. So that's the name of this video. If you're a business owner, if you're a coach, the number one way to increase the number in your bank account is through selling. But I know that a lot of us have things around selling that come up. And even though that we know that sales are the lifeblood of our business, that we cannot run a business without having sales, there is still some fear that comes up in us. And this has been often programmed from a long time, a lot of conditioning that leads us to this point. So in this video, I want to kind of unpack 5 of the main fears that a lot of coaches have and how to overcome them and how to make your selling process enjoyable for you and also for your potential prospect in front of you. There's only one reason why businesses fail, and that is not enough sales. And there's only one main reason why businesses succeed, and that's having enough sales. So there are really 2 major things that you can get wrong when it comes to selling as a coach. Number 1, doing pushy, aggressive, inauthentic sales tactics. Being that person that we don't want to be, right? That person that's pushy and puts people off. Number 2, not selling enough. So actually not getting in front of enough people and selling yourself enough, basically avoiding sales. The majority of the coaches I work with fall into the second category. They're avoiding selling. And one of the reasons that they're avoiding selling is because they don't want to fall into that first category of being that pushy salesperson and doing inauthentic selling. So they're avoiding selling, and because they're avoiding it, they're not getting better at it. They're not getting practice at authentic selling. Can you see the challenge for a lot of us? So authentic selling is very different. In fact, it's almost opposite to those pushy, old school, traditional selling techniques. Those techniques don't work anymore. They are gone. They work in some industries, they work in some situations, but if you want to sell elegantly and authentically, this video is for you. So how do you sell more of your offers without being pushy? Number 1, if you're taking notes, write this down. By the way, if you're here live, thank you for joining us live. Pop a hashtag live in the chat box. So good to have you here. And if you're joining the replay, just pop a hashtag replay and please make comments and share your thoughts. Love to hear from you. So please keep it interactive. Number 1, how to sell more of your offers. Number 1, change your definition of selling. Change your definition of selling. Even if you know that selling's good, that you have to do it, that even if you enjoy selling, sometimes there's some remnants of past things, past experiences, past bad selling experiences that you've had with a salesperson that still has this leftover, I don't want to be that person. I have had sales conversations when I'm buying something or wanting to buy something that's physically made me feel disgusting. Has anyone felt like this? You've been in a situation where you've felt so uncomfortable. You're trying to figure out how to get out of the situation. The person is relenting, is relentless. The person's kind of coming at you and you just feel a bit attacked. I had a situation where I got on the phone with a lady and I was really interested in this Facebook ads done for you thing. This was years ago. And I remember saying, I'm just really not sure. I'm not sure if this is actually what I need. And she said, it sounds like you're not really that committed to your business. And it just made me go hot, like almost like a rage, like a defiant, how dare you? And I don't know, maybe I had some stuff that I needed to work on because otherwise that wouldn't have probably triggered me. But it's like, you don't know me. You don't know how hard I work. You don't know how committed I am to my business. I'm just not committed yet to buying what you're offering for $5,000. And I remember it just made me feel so horrible because the company that I wanted to buy from, they were great. Like the guy was awesome. It's just that he had this sales rep that he put on the phone with me that just felt very, very uncaring, very, very numbers driven. I just want to make this sale, rushing me. Has anyone had an experience where someone's been trying to sell to you and it's just felt pretty awful? So I think we've got leftovers of bad sales conversations or images of movies where car salesmen are so sleazy and slimy, and we just don't want to borrow that type of selling. When I left my corporate job 9 to 5 in 2004, I became a personal trainer, and I didn't really know what I wanted to do with my life. All I knew was that I wanted to be in front of people, helping people. Before that, I was on the phone taking insurance claim details over the phone. And so when I decided to become a personal trainer, I was just like, oh, cool, I get to help people, and I love training, and I love health and fitness, and this is going to be awesome. And I remember going to this convention, like a business convention, that me and a whole lot of my personal training gym buddies went to. We're all sitting there and having a great time, and then this guy walks on stage and he goes, raise your hand if you're in sales. And I think we kind of thought, oh, he means like the sales consultants of the gym, or, sales people that have actual sales rep jobs. And so none of us raised our hand. And then he was like, you're all going to be broke. And when you just like, you could hear a pin drop and the whole room went silent. And we were just sitting there kind of like, the turtle emoji where you just like come in your shell like, oh, he goes, if you don't think of yourself as a salesperson, you're never going to make it as a personal trainer. And I just remember having this physical reaction again, like, oh, I don't want to sell. I used to just test sales. I used to just not want to admit that being a personal trainer meant that I actually had to sell, but something clicked for me. I was like, I have to go through this. I have to learn how to do this. And I really want to do it in a way that feels good to me, that feels nice. And over time, as I improved my skills, as I got in front of more people, as I learned professional selling, I went to 4 different professional sales training courses. And I took a little bit out of each one. I left the bits that didn't resonate. There were things that they were teaching that I thought, I never want to do that. I never would say that. It just felt completely not aligned for me, and it felt very inauthentic if I was going to say it. I let go of a lot of the scripts that I'd been given, and I created my own. And as I used it, and as I signed up more and more clients in a really enjoyable way for me and them, and let go of this whole definition I had of selling, I got really passionate about it because I saw that people's lives transformed. And since then, I've been really blessed to have had thousands of conversations, sales conversations with thousands of people, and helped thousands of people to be inspired to change, to have a breakthrough, to transform their lives. And it's such a blessing and such an incredible part of my life now that I really love getting on sales conversations, because it's either a fit or it's not. I can either help the person or it's not. So I don't ever have to be pushy. I never am pushy. I'm never trying to convince anyone of anything, because if I have to convince them, they're probably not the right fit. I need to sit with them and help them work through whatever their blocks are. But it's certainly by no means, I've never had anyone tell me you're pushy, you're aggressive. And this is after thousands of sales conversations. So the reason a lot of coaches don't spend a lot of time selling is because they have ineffective definitions of selling in their mind. So in their brain, they have a definition that selling is, here's a test. Here's a quick test. I just want you to, first thing that comes to your mind when you think of a salesperson, just let your brain come up with it. What's the first thing that comes to your mind when you think of a salesperson? And if that's not positive, even though you know that you don't want to be that person, and everything inside, every cell inside your being rejects the idea of being that kind of person, until we actually change that definition of what selling is, we will have selling avoidance. We will have selling reluctance. And this is where we're hesitant to do the one thing that's actually going to grow our business. It means we avoid following up. Sometimes we don't do this consciously, by the way. Sometimes we just don't make the effort to get more people into our sales conversations. And you'll know that you're doing this if you look at your calendar for next week and look at how many calls are booked. How many sales conversations do you have booked into your calendar? If you don't have your calendar full of people, there's probably some sales avoidance, sales reluctance happening here. So a lot of us have had bad experiences. So we have a negative definition of selling inside our mind. And if we don't change what's inside our brain, if our definition of selling is negative and we equate it with dodgy, con artist, annoying, pushy, car salesman, rip-off artists, then why would you ever want to get better at it, at the craft, at the art of selling? You wouldn't, because selling is an art and a science, and it's a super creative process. It's a fun process if you do it right. So people who use an authentic, elegant approach are completely detached from the outcome. So they're not pushy, but they're completely committed to helping the person get a breakthrough. So we want to be completely detached from the outcome, completely committed to the person. If you know that what you offer is really good, if it gets results for people and you still have resistance to selling it, it could be because of this definition in your brain. Is this kind of landing? Is this resonating with anyone? Just pop in the chat box, in the comments if you're hearing what I'm saying. If you don't yet believe that every time you make a sale, someone's life improves, then you probably need to work on your sales conviction and work on your offer until your offer is really, really good. Because when your offer is really good, you cannot wait to tell people about it. So it could be an offer issue, like what you're actually offering in your program. Often it's a selling conviction. So an authentic salesperson, they use the product that they actually are selling, and they believe in the product, and they get benefit from the product or the program or the offer. Like if you're a coach, you've probably invested in coaching. And then there's a real congruency that comes with it. There's a confidence, there's a conviction. Like I believe in coaching so deeply and so strongly because coaching changed my life. It absolutely changed my life. I'm not saying you shouldn't ever sell something that you don't use. What I am saying is that you need to fully believe in the product. And if you believe in it, you're in a very good position to have the conviction and the confidence you need to sell it. If there's any incongruence, if there's any out of alignment, it will show up in your selling conversations. It will show up in selling avoidance and selling reluctance. So until you change that definition, you won't pursue the skill development of selling. And this skill can add value to every area of your life. You know, financially, relationally, if you get really good at it, if you get really good at holding space for people, asking powerful questions, feeding back keywords, really being present, really listening to what the person's saying and not saying, it will improve your communication with everybody in your life, not just your finances. Because authentic selling, fundamentally, it's the ability to care. It's an ability to care for another human being. If you care about your friend and they came over for dinner and you'd just been out to a restaurant the night before and it was amazing, the food was exquisite and you just had such great service and the ambience was just spot on and you loved it and you raved about it, you'd probably tell your friend about it, right? You know, your intention would be to influence your friend. Hey, you've got to go to this restaurant. It is incredible. You want to share it with them because you care about them. You want them to have that experience. So when you have an authentic selling definition in your brain, you want to sell because you want to improve the quality of someone's life. Selling is ultimately the ability to heal. The world's moved on from traditional selling techniques. It's now moved to caring. And of course, there's a whole bunch of people still doing it the old school way, but you can differentiate yourself by being different. So if you want to help more people, if you want to make a bigger difference, if you want to change people's lives at a greater, have a greater impact, do it in a bigger way, then changing your definition of selling and becoming really good at selling is one of the most important skills that you can develop. Remember, we're not trying to persuade or convince anyone. We're not trying to manipulate people into doing what you want them to do. We're helping them to come to the right decision for them. So when you redefine the word selling from cheesy, sleazy, pushy to healing, to service, to caring, to helping someone go from where they are to where they want to be, things can really change for you. If you're not a pushy person, you're probably not going to be pushy on a sales call. Like, we have a fear of being pushy, but a lot of times it's quite irrational. Like when people say to me, I don't want to be pushy. They're not pushy people. You're not going to just have a personality transplant just because you're in a selling conversation, right? So when you share with your friend about the dinner, you're just being yourself. You're being natural. You're being authentic, right? But as soon as you get in front of a prospect who might potentially pay you money, that's where a lot of people get a bit weird. You probably have a big, beautiful heart and really want to help people, and you're scared of being someone that you're not. I totally get that, because that was how I felt. And I just want to remind you, you don't have to be someone you're not to sell effectively. So that's number one, ineffective selling definition. Number two, practice selling more. Practice selling more. The more selling you do, the more fear of selling starts to drop off. It falls away, because you give your brain evidence that selling is not as scary as you think. The more you do it, the more you enjoy it. You get better at it. So when you're not doing it much, when your calendar's hardly got anyone in it and you're not getting to practice those skills, you don't get good at it. But when you're doing it all the time, you get better and better. And so the fears drop away. There are 5 main fears I've discovered coaches have when it comes to selling. Number 1, fear of rejection. The fear of hearing no or facing rejection. It's a really common fear. And this can stop you from initiating sales conversations. It can stop you from following up. And it will take your business down if you don't deal with it. It'll show up in every area of your business. You've got to deal with that if you have that fear of rejection. Number 2, fear of being perceived as pushy or salesy. A lot of coaches fear being seen as overly aggressive. They want to maintain a genuine, non-intrusive approach. And this was what I worked through is how to do it in a way that you don't get this physical reaction when you're selling. Because the reaction I got as a buyer was similar to how I used to feel when I was selling. I was so nervous and so fearful, which is why I teach exactly the opposite to pushy selling. Number 3 is fear of inadequacy. So coaches have fear around not having the necessary knowledge or skills or expertise to really address people's needs or concerns. And this fear can really stop their ability to be confident in sales conversations. Number 4 is the fear of price resistance or objections. So discussing price can sometimes evoke fear in people, or discussing objections or resistance from potential clients can raise fear that they won't be able to justify it, or they won't be able to handle the objections. And this varies in intensity from coach to coach. But it's a very real fear. And number 5 is fear of failure. So there's often a fear that you're just going to stuff it up. It's just not going to work. And overcoming these fears is crucial if you want your coaching business to be successful. These fears are very real. They're affecting a lot of people, but they can change very quickly. I've helped a lot of people overcome these fears. If you want to make a living as a coach, you need to overcome the fear of selling and get really good at it. And the more you practice, the better you'll get. And the better you'll get, the more you'll enjoy it. So that's number 2, practice selling more. Number 3, follow a formula. One of the main reasons why people aren't good at selling is because they don't know what to say and they don't know how to say it. So they get on calls and they're nervous. And I find that a lot of people treat them more like a coaching session, and there are crossovers for sure. We are coaching people through some of their resistance. But sometimes what happens is they'll treat it almost like they're catching up with a friend and just having a chat with a bestie. And we've got to remember, this is important. People come to you to buy. People aren't coming to you to have a friendly chat. They are coming to you to buy. No one books into a strategy call unless they want to change their life. It doesn't mean that they definitely want to buy right now, but it might mean that there's some things that they need to work on, but they don't take that step unless they actually want to transform their life. No one wants to just sit on a 45-minute call. No one wants less out of life. They want more out of life, right? So a formula allows you to stay on track because people are going to always tangent. That's natural conversation flow. And when we follow a strict, rigid script, sometimes it's quite jarring and it can feel really scripted. Has anyone been in those kind of conversations? So the formula I teach, it's called the Authentic Enrollment Formula. Every time I share it with women, they tell me it's completely different to other sales scripts that they've been taught in the past. That's because it is different. It's not a script. I've created a process. It's a formula over 20 years of selling and refined it over the years. I changed the questions, I changed things around, but it's a specific framework that you can follow. And it's basically taken the best of the bits of all the sales training that I've done, and I've applied the things that I've liked to hundreds and hundreds of sales calls. I've left out of the things that didn't sit right with me, the things that felt awkward and unnatural. I left those things out. Anything that felt pushy or inauthentic, I left out. And I've created a framework to follow to help coaches transform their selling conversations. They're not big, long sentences and paragraphs that kind of leave you lost and all over the place. It's a framework. Oh, I can see where I'm at in the framework, and here's a question. It's like question toolkits. So what I recommend is that you have a formula. You don't have necessarily a script. Scripts often feel rigid and they don't often flow with the person that's in front of you. But I've found that having a toolkit of questions and a framework to gently lead people through a series of very powerful questions that help people have a breakthrough is the most effective way to sell. Having a framework to follow, having a formula, it's elegant, it's enjoyable for both of you, and it leads you to enrolling the right fit clients, the right match clients, because we've probably all been in sales conversations where we've lost people, they haven't signed up, and they were actually a good fit. And because we were nervous and clunky and a bit awkward, we've come across not confident. We've not given them the confidence that they need to sign up. And so when you have a formula to follow that's elegant, that's seamless, that's enjoyable, then your conversion rates are going to go really high. And you're going to enjoy it more. And so is the person sitting across from you. I promise you, sales can be fun. Sales can be enjoyable. It's one of the most enjoyable activities that I do because people have breakthroughs. As coaches, we love when people have aha moments. We love when the penny drops and they make a decision to change their life. And that's what happens in selling. This teaching is part of my Selling with Soul module, which is in my Client Attraction Accelerator program. In the program, I teach my clients exactly how to authentically sell their offers to get fully booked with high quality clients. So I teach the whole process. Sales is part of it. Sales is one of the pillars of the 8 pillars that I teach. But I help people to not only nail their sales, but also actually get more people into their sales conversations. So if you want to make more sales, if you're willing to overcome those fears and that selling avoidance and selling reluctance, if you're ready and you know you need a strategy to follow, you need a structure to follow, you need a framework, and you need some support with it, and you want the confidence to make people, to make more sales, if you want that confidence, that conviction when you show up in your sales calls, that, hey, if we're the right match, I'm with you, I'm committed, and I'm going to have fun with it. I'm going to relax. I'm going to be detached from the outcome and totally committed to you as a person. This is what I help people do. So in the program, I work really closely with you. We create a personalized strategy for you so that you can not just get a script, but actually have a whole process to follow, from leading more people into your sales conversations, signing up more people, and then retaining them and having raving fans, the whole journey. I help people right from the beginning, from strangers all the way through to buyers. So if you want to bring in more amazing clients, if you want to make more money, if you want to help more people, then this program could be for you. It's not for everyone. It's only for a few specific people. It's for coaches, female coaches who want to add 5K or more to your business in 3 months or less. It's for you if you know that you can get results for people. I'm not great at helping people market if they aren't confident that they can actually get results. I'm really good at marketing and helping people sell if they're good at getting results. It's for you if you want to add at least another 3 to 5 clients. You've got space to look after 3 to 5 clients and serve them well. And if you're willing to implement a step-by-step plan that's proven to get results. So I can help you not only just with your sales, but every aspect of your marketing. So if you want to get more clients quickly, if you want to set yourself up for success, get more money in your bank account, get more clients on board, drop the word clients into the comments now, or just DM me the word clients and I'll send you the information about the program. This is the best time to work with me before my next price increase. So if you want more coaching clients, comment clients and I'll send you the info. I hope this has been really valuable for you today. I just want to recap a little bit how to sell more of your offers without being pushy. Number 1, change your definition of selling. You might think that you've got a good definition, but sometimes there's a few remnants left over, and the test is to see how many sales calls you're actually going after and how many sales calls you've got booked. And if there is some selling avoidance and selling reluctance, to really look into that and overcome that, because it can really take your business down. Number 2 is practice selling more. Get in front of as many people as you can and practice and give your brain evidence that you can do it and it's safe. And number 3 is to follow a formula. Hope this has been useful for you today. Just a reminder, keep showing up, keep sharing, keep shining. The world is waiting for your words and your voice matters. It matters, my friends. Big love. Talk to you soon. Bye.